Hey everyone, welcome back to another Tic Tac Taiko. It's been a minute since I've done Bachi tricks, so guess what we're doing this week? It's Bachi tricks. But anyways, I'm going to teach you the drop flip, so stay tuned. As with any Bachi trick, safety comes first. So make sure that you've got carpeting or padding below you. If you have hardwood floors or the like, you're gonna wanna put some towels down. That's what I'm doing. You also wanna make sure for this trick particularly, there's nothing immediately to the right or left of you because the Bachi might go in either direction. Also, to be completely transparent, of all the Bachi tricks that I've taught so far, the drop flip is one of the least applicable, I would say, to your Taiko playing. However, there are some good uses for it. I'll talk more about that at the end of the video. And finally, you know what I'm gonna say, right? If you haven't hit the like button, consider doing that. If you haven't subscribed yet, consider doing that. Both of those will make my day, and they'll probably make yours as well. If you've watched my channel in the past, you know it's a good time when I bring out this Bachi. Pink on one side, blue on the other, helps you identify where things are at any given moment. But let me show you the drop flip officially, even though it was in the promo in the opening video. You have your Bachi in a striking position, you let it drop and you flip. You let it drop and you flip. That's essentially it. There's a lot more you can do with it. There's a lot more we will be doing with it, but there's your drop flip. The name of the trick explains the trick pretty well. You have your drop as the first part, and we're gonna talk about that. Even though it's pretty easy, most Taiko players are very good at dropping their Bachi. Usually not intentionally, but it's very easy to do. Even a non-Taiko player can drop a Bachi, but there's a little more to it, and that's what we're gonna talk about. So the drop for this trick can be done in a couple of ways. You'll figure out what works best for you. The first way is to completely open my hand and let the Bachi fall as it will, and then grab it before it falls completely. The other way is to let go just enough, just a little bit less surface tension, so it slides, and then I squeeze again. There's no right way, and you'll find that you'll do one time and one another, and maybe somewhere in between. The point is you want to drop with control and catch it before it falls completely. The other part of this equation is how far to let the Bachi fall. It has to go more than 50%. Flipping it with 50-50 weight is really hard, but you also don't want it to go past where your thumb doesn't have anything to press against. You want to have a little bit of choke, or I don't know, anti-choke, because it's going this way versus this way. So somewhere between 50 and 100% will work. Now, practicing this is pretty easy. I don't think you need to do very much of it. 3 times, 4 times, probably fine, because the actual trick will have you doing it a lot. But it's good to isolate it. I've got my Bachi, I let it drop. Got my Bachi, I let it drop. I've got my Bachi, I let it drop. Cool, there's your drop. Now the flip part of the equation, we're gonna spend a little bit more time there. It's easy to understand what you're doing, but you actually have to do it a few times to understand how to do it well. There are several different types of flips you can do, but I'm gonna say the main base version is after the drop. That's a better drop. We're gonna flip it to the outside. So this is my right hand. I'm going to flip the Bachi to the right. If I dropped in my left hand, I would flip my Bachi to the left. So we're going outside and up for our flip. From the drop position, I need to turn the Bachi so that it's going up and somewhat over. How much? I'll leave it up to you to figure out. It doesn't have to be mathematically perfect, but it can't be going just to the side, because that's when it's going to go flying out and break something. It's got to come up and over at the same time. And then you let go. And I don't think I have to tell you the second part of that is to grab. So drop, flip up and over, let go and grab. Flip up and over, let go and grab. Now, having one rotation is pretty gentle. You have to do it a few times to realize that it's not a lot of force. It's not gonna go flying. It's up and over. And you can make it easier by using a little bit of centrifugal force and coming down at the same time. Up and over. Gives you more time. Up and over. But you can shorten that and make it more snappy, more of a wrist twist. Drop, flip, drop, flip. So you can build on the speed, but first let it drop and just kind of, here we go, up and over, up and over. And again, if you have something down underneath you, dropping it's not a big deal. Now let's talk about the hand, because most of you are going to be focusing on the bachi, trying not to let go, trying not to hit yourself, but the hand is allowing you to do what you want to do. So I am flipping the bachi, watch my hand, I'm letting go, and then I'm rotating so that I can welcome the part that's coming around. My hand might catch here, palm up, or more here, palm to the side, doesn't matter. Probably going to be somewhere in the middle. So again, my hand is counter rotating to the bachi to welcome the part that's coming in. Flip and rotate. Let's try that in real time. Just like that. If you wind up doing this over and over and over again, you may find yourself catching it where you let go of it, so you don't have the drop to happen again. Like that. So you eliminate the need for the drop and you just flip again. It's going to happen. You figure it out. You work it out. It's okay, but knowing where it is, knowing how to adjust for wherever it winds up, that's part of the trick as well. So we'll do now what I recommend doing with pretty much every drill on my channel. Once you got it in one hand, try the other. In fact, I find that my left hand tends to do some bachi tricks easier than my right, and I don't know why. And feel free to break it down here like we did earlier with just the drop. Get the drop first, figure out how your hand on this side likes to work, then go for the flip. And then we'll move on. Now we've got our basic flip, which is drop and flip to the outside. But why not drop and flip to the inside? This one's a little trickier. As you can see, if I start with blue on top, I wind up with pink on top. So this is going half a rotation, whereas the regular drop flip goes a full rotation. So inside is, in a way, a simpler drop flip. Well, that wasn't even a flip. Drop flip. But you really have to let go and come back. And here's why. When the bachi drops and I flip it inside, I need to get my hand out of the way of the remainder of the bachi and then come back. Now in theory, I should just be able to go just a little bit away and then come back. But in reality, if I go a little bit away, it's not far enough. It's easier and safer to just get really far out of the way and come back. And of course, other hand. But regardless of which hand you do it, the next step from outside versus inside is to alternate between outside and inside. So we'll start at neutral, outside, inside, outside, inside. Whoa, barely a flip. Outside, inside, outside, inside. Whoa, a little too much on that one. So what's interesting is that last flip was a little too much, but that's what we're going to do next. We're actually going to increase the amount of rotations. So the regular drop flip, blue is on top, blue is on top. But now with blue on top, pink on top. With pink on top, blue on top. All I'm doing is adding extra rotation and waiting to grab it. It's a little scarier. That's why I've got towels down on my hardwood floor, but very doable. Pink, blue, pink, blue. Now I've switched hands just to switch hands. You don't have to, but we're going to do the same on the inside. We're going to do an extra rotation. Remember, when you're doing inside, the color on top will switch. So if I have blue, I wind up with pink, I wind up with blue. If I'm going to add an extra rotation, then I should, theoretically, have the same color each time. So blue, 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 blue. It's a lot harder. Really have to get your hand out of the way, and I realize I'm pulling back rather than away. As long as you get your hand out of the way and get the flip you want, it's all good. All right, one more variation to teach, and that's going from one hand to the other. I'm going to drop from blue, I'm going to go outside, and I'm going to catch it in my other hand. Drop, catch, drop, catch. Now, what's funny, or at least slightly amusing here, is that this variation is somewhat easier, or in a lot of ways, easier than the base trick itself. I start with blue, I drop, I flip, I catch pink. Drop, catch, blue. It's essentially doing this, which is a decent arm workout, but this isn't the trick. But this is essentially what you're doing. And just kind of flipping into the open hand is not that difficult compared to flipping it in the same hand and catching itself. So let's go ahead and try, or at least I'm gonna try. You can watch, hopefully you'll try later. Starting with blue on my right. Pretty simple. So one variation, making it actually a lot more difficult, is to do an extra rotation. I start with blue, and I get blue, and I get blue, and I get blue. Just like that. At this point, anything else added to this drill in terms of variations is a variation on a variation. I'm dropping and I'm flipping either to the inside or to the outside. I'm adding rotations or subtracting rotations. I'm catching with one hand or the other hand. You could do other things if you wanted, like spin around and catch it. Good luck if you do that. But that's the base drill. So I'm gonna do some variations on variations. I'm gonna see what happens. Odds are I'm gonna drop my bachi a lot, but I'm not gonna show you. I'm gonna show you the good take, and I'll save the others for the blooper reels. And now you know how to do the drop flip. Now, like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, this trick is not as applicable as some of the other tricks. Any trick that's quick and easy and safe, like a twirl or a spin, anything like this, even a quick little flip of the bachi like that, that's gonna be much more applicable. You're gonna be able to find uses for it or even do it quickly without having to think too much if you practiced it enough. Whereas the drop flip, you have to drop your bachi into a position that's not something most of us ever get to. Even accidental catches and releases might get you somewhere in the middle, 50-50. And the drop flip, as we talked about, isn't really easy to do at 50-50. So this position is not something you're likely to find yourself in. But like with every bachi trick, you're learning dexterity, bachi control, grip manipulation, bachi awareness. Any bachi trick is useful. And so I find myself doing this just for fun at random, just like I find myself doing all the other ones for fun just at random. And having more of a vocabulary is never a bad thing. I hope you found this video useful, even if you decide you don't want to actually do the drop flip. I hope you're feeling a sense of inspiration, ideas, and maybe, ooh, I can do this with my bachi or that with my bachi. Because the more time you spend manipulating your bachi and getting used to what it wants to do and what it doesn't, the better of a taiko player you can become. And until next time, keep on practicing and be well.